is a Bramble Jam podcast.
Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today we're discussing Finding Mr. Christmas, Episode 3, streaming exclusively on the Hallmark Plus platform. If you do not have Hallmark Plus and you are hoping to be able to watch, there's a couple ways that you can watch these episodes for free. First way, on Wednesday, November 13th, which is tomorrow. They will be airing episodes 1 and 2 on the Hallmark Channel, so set your DVRs. Episode 1 is available for free on YouTube. And finally, you can get a free 7-day trial of Hallmark Plus to check it out. There is a fourth way, and that is if you have a library card, please download the Hoopla digital app and check out their Binge Pass, which allows you 7-day access to Hallmark Plus. The good news is you can download it over and over and over again. So there are ways to be watching these shows without being a Hallmark Plus subscriber, or you could just chill at the $7 and see what they got going on over there.
Also, hot tip from you, I've heard you say in the past, on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, there's usually
Streaming deals.
And maybe Hallmark Plus might be one of them.
We shall see. Hallmark Plus aside, if you're looking for a Peacock or a Paramount or a Hulu subscription, those are often on deep discount during the entire week of Black Friday, so definitely keep your eyes out for that. This is designed to be a mini episode, so let's dive right into our thoughts on Finding Mr. Christmas Episode 3, which opens with some bad news.
Yeah, so fan favorite,
Daxton Bloomquist.
he's missing.
And the guys all jump on a FaceTime call.
They're like, where's he at? Where's Daxton at? Daxton had to go to the hospital for an eye situation.
Turns out he has a detached retina.
Have you seen his Instagram lately?
Did he show photos?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want to see that. But we were in the DMs with Daxton, and he said it is the recovery is still ongoing.
He's still undergoing surgeries for it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really bad apparently. But he showed a picture. It was like a slideshow. Like it was like, good picture. I'm wearing an eye patch. And then boom, there's a picture.
I really like Daxton. I really don't want to see his eye photo. I'm so sorry.
I'm sad that when we streamed this episode from the cruise. We watched it together in our room. And I go, oh, Daxton selfie Vicks.
Yeah.
And I think that's a joke only Megan gets.
You got to be like in the Survivor Big Brother realm to understand
The
that
selfie Vic
the
joke.
selfie Vic
Yeah,
joke.
but bummer. He had to leave the show because of his unforeseen surgery, no pun intended. Now, for me, I kind of hope they extend a return invitation to him.
Finding
next
Mr. Christmas season 2.
Look, there better be a season 2 here.
Oh, yeah, I hope so too.
I'm in love with the show. It's probably one of my favorite reality TV shows
100%
right now. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so pure and joy-filled and funny, and everyone's so pretty to look at, and I love it.
And I love the competitions that they do. It's very top model / Survivor-ish. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, Hayden loses his bestie. And we also get some confessional talk where Gage acknowledges perhaps he was a little bit cocky in last week's episode, and he's going to do better, he says. We'll see if that plays out for him.
Is he going to do better?
It is time for the festive face-off. And right before we went into this, Wendy was like, I need to see some more physical challenges. I need to see like some Survivor-esque challenges. And I think we got like a babyest Survivor-esque addition to this challenge.
Yes, I agree.
Their challenge was to untangle Christmas lights, but not only that, they were in teams of 2 or 3, and one person was raising the Christmas light bundle like a pulley.
Like a pulley situation.
While the other team member was untangling it, and it seemed like they were quite heavy because many of the men, especially Gage, were struggling to keep the lights elevated.
Sure, though, what would have happened if they dropped that pulley thing? Like, were they eliminated? It had to stay like
Maybe they just weren't allowed to be
Suspended?
untangling unless it was in the air.
Got it. It was a little unclear about that.
So they're in 3 teams: Ezra and Gage, Jonathan and Hayden, and Parker, Ezra, and Blake. Parker was allowed to pick the teams because he was the winner of the previous challenge.
With his JCP. It is JCP.
It is.
It's JCPenney photo shoot that you didn't like.
That's right. And because of Daxton's untimely exit, we had 2 teams of 2 and 1 team of 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to watch. Parker, at one point, they're like, oh no, I cut myself. And I expect to see blood gushing. It's the tiniest, babyest, like, do you need a Band-Aid? Like,
He needed a Band-Aid, not even a stitch.
no.
Like maybe the bulb was broken and he like sliced. I mean, who hasn't done that?
Sure.
Putting up Christmas lights. I told Megan while we were watching this, I was like, I've seen a guy fall into the fire on Survivor.
As have I, that's still burned, pun unintended, into my brain as one of the most horrifying scenes to ever make network television. I can envision the pullback from the fire.
Even a couple seasons ago, this guy like knocked himself into a concussion, split his head open so badly.
On day 1, that's what we're talking about. I remember that.
Had to be sent home.
Yes.
Like, so Parker and your baby slice.
We still love you, Parker.
But come on. Also, I would like to note the number of times the word bro is said during this like festive face-off challenge.
Yeah, we need like a pop-up video bro count. Like ding,
Yes.
ding, ding.
Yes. Jonathan Bennett, can you hear us? We want a bro count in the corner of our screens.
It was excessive.
These guys are broing out.
Elijah and Gage are the winners of this competition.
I gotta say, I'm a little surprised.
Well, you know, that magic in editing, they leave you in suspense about who's doing well. And their reward is they get 5 minutes of extra rehearsal time in our Star Quality Challenge. Before we get to the Star Quality Challenge, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. The challenge here is to perform a scene while ice skating. Their co-star is Brooke D'Orsay, although Jonathan Bennett called her Brooke Dorsey, and I'm honestly not sure which one of us is correct, although I'm going to assume that it's him.
I mean, he has been in a movie with her once or twice.
I mean, he's met her. Of course, Melissa Peterman returns as well. Here's what I like about this challenge. In our first acting challenge, all the guys were able to see how the others performed. This time, they're like in isolation. They don't see, and there's a reason for that. And that is because they throw them a curveball of a challenge, the good guy challenge. They want them to give them an opportunity to show some heart.
Yes, exactly.
Now, here's the funniest part. First of all, Parker actually, I think, did a great job. He made some really fun acting choices with the lines. He's really like showing that he's not just one note. He's not just a pretty face.
Yeah, I was surprised because his first acting challenge in the first episode wasn't that great.
Yeah, and do you think he's like, oh, they really want us to show our personalities now? Like, I have a little bit of freedom here to have fun with this.
And in that first challenge too, they had to work with another.
Oh, yeah, they were playing off another actor.
Yeah, so it was like a 3-person scene versus just a 2-person scene.
Yeah, and in that scene, that first challenge, the challenge was like, pull focus.
Yeah, that's difficult.
That's difficult. And it's also like, I think if you are kind of a nice guy, it's a little hard to be like, look at me. You're just letting them have their moment. So I'm glad to see Parker start strong. The additional challenge is the dudes are presented with an opportunity to be a good guy. And one of 2 things happened. Either a skater falls on the ice and we wait and see how the guys handle it. Parker, of course, skates on over, offers her a hand. And we kind of laughed. We're like, what are they going to do? Just sit there and point when the skater falls? Foreshadowing. Let's talk about how this goes.
Wait for it.
Hayden's up next. And it starts raining during Hayden's scene. And Hayden makes a bold choice, met with split impressions on our end. Hayden covers Brooke's hair with his denim jacket. Now, gentlemanly.
Yeah.
But as Wendy pointed out,
you're covering your co-star's head with a jacket.
You couldn't see her face.
Couldn't see her face at all. I think you have the viewpoint of, yeah, I don't want my hair to get wet, right?
Yeah.
You and Brooke,
To me, I was like, oh, that's nice, because if it starts raining,
Yes.
I'm like, oh no, my hair. But Wendy's like, literally, he's skating around with a giant denim jacket. And in most of the scenes, you could not see her face because she's fully hooded.
with a denim jacket.
So, but the judges did like that move. They thought it was sweet.
I think it lends nicely to their lead with heart sort of secret mission.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you were shooting a movie, you wouldn't. Your co-star wouldn't have a jacket on their head.
No, they would have an out of sight umbrella over the filming moment. Hayden's lead with heart moment, as he's returning his skates, the skate handler kind of knocks them all over, and Hayden's like, no, man, I got you, and helps pick them up, as would anybody.
Any human being.
Jonathan's next. Jonathan's fine, but they kind of comment like he's kind of dragging Brooke around the ice because he's like, I got to get to my light, say my line. And then, and then drag her back around.
Technically was a little rough.
A little rough.
Yeah.
And I believe Jonathan got the advice in the last challenge, you got to make sure you're getting your angles. So I think he was in his head
Totally.
about like, I have to make sure I'm lined up right when I'm saying
Where's
these
my mark?
lines.
Yeah.
And so that's a big challenge. You got to connect with your co-star, but you're also thinking about like, yeah, find my mark.
Yeah, I mean, an actor's got a lot of things going on, says a person who's never acted. So I don't know.
Yeah, what do we know?
I don't know.
Gage is up next.
Can I tell you, there are a handful of people in TV and movies that elicit a sort of rage from me. So much where I want to like throw things at the TV. The character Michael Scott from The Office is one of them.
Really?
I freaking love The Office, and the Michael Scott character is one of the best, but like for some reason I have this rage. And also Gage from the show is one of these people. I want to like, I can't, it's like a fire inside of me where I just want to like reach through their TV and grab this person.
I have good news for you.
Okay. He's on the podcast. Can you even imagine?
First of all, at the end of his scene, he makes a really weird choice and runs away.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I don't know why.
I think he was trying to be funny and stand out.
Yeah, it didn't hit for me. Now, as they're getting onto the ice, the skater falls right in front of them. And Gage just stands there.
He literally, we're talking inches away.
Now, he says, I'm right behind you, which Brooke later on is like, maybe he was trying to say, like, I'm going to, diffuse it with humor. Like, I'll be following. Like, when every other person makes the move to help the skater up or to help with the skates, and your move is to stand there with Brooke and just let them, you're not working hard against the villain type. We got you under, is what I'm saying here.
Exactly.
Next up is Blake. And I really was like, I was rooting for you, Blake. Blake's still charming as heck, but he did flub his line a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even certain that he knew that he did it because he didn't comment on it because he felt like, he's like, I feel like I did a pretty good job. I think he's fine. I don't think he's the worst, but I just bummed me out.
I still think Blake is one to watch. He leans heavily into his charm when he messes up his lines. Mm-hmm. And I think that can work for a while. Mm-hmm. But maybe not all the time.
Elijah comes out and all my notes say is he's a natural.
He is a natural. I mean, I don't think it's hard for him considering all of his experience on Broadway.
Yes, that is translating.
If you're Parker, aren't you like, well, fuck, what am I going to do? like who's never been in anything, and your competition is the guy who played John Lorenz on Broadway in Hamilton.
I actually think Parker has a leg up because at least Parker's used to being in front of the camera. Elijah's on-stage experience is translating. He's not having to deal with being uncomfortable in front of a crowd, in front of a camera. He's used to performing live. He's used to having to hit his mark and hit his lines, and that is working in his favor. It helps that he's super handsome and super charming, and he's also, I think, one to watch as well.
I kind of feel like he might be a front runner right now.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you who my top 3 are, but I will tell you if he would be in it.
He's definitely in my top 3 too. I'm really afraid. I hate saying it out loud because I feel like it always jinxes it.
Yeah,
So
you're like that.
Like, I don't know if I ever admitted this, but Isaac was my front runner prior to seeing the show. Isaac the firefighter, who was not good.
Well, episode 1, Ezra was my front runner from like the introductions, first 10 minutes of the show. I said he was the one to watch. You know, Ezra goes last. He's fine. He was. It's the dog belching.
Sorry. He has a lot of digestion issues.
Ezra was fine. He was not dynamic. He was really sweet with the skates dude who knocked over the skates. And that works for me. I like that a lot. But his scene was not really doing much for me.
Do you think it's possible in the magic of editing that they're not really showing Ezra a whole lot? Because we don't really see a lot from Ezra. Maybe Ezra wins. Because
Maybe.
like, you know how they like do that kind of like bait and switch situation?
Yeah, maybe we're not getting a lot of Ezra, but it's coming.
Yeah.
So we go into the elimination. Gage comes in. He's like, I'm feeling confident. So when we talk about the top, Brooke says Hayden really stood out. You know, he covered her hair. I got you, Brooke. I understand. Jonathan said Parker had nice chemistry and that we got a glimpse of the it factor from Eli. Who's our winner? Ding, ding, ding.
Elijah snags this week's win.
Now, we go into elimination and we hear that Ezra was charming but not dynamic. Jonathan, he did not connect with the camera. And Gage, they said his scene was nice, but he really failed the leading with heart challenge. The bottom 2 are Ezra and Gage, and bye-bye, Gage.
No, I want you to say what you said while we were watching this show.
I said, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, Gage.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I am kind of sad that we are losing our resident villain.
Yeah, who am I going to root against now?
Who am I going to root against? That is also the fun of these shows, is to root against somebody. But I don't know who I'm going to root for either. I don't know yet. I have a front runner, but I don't know exactly. I'm trying to see the vision of like, because we know who the female co-star is in the movie. So I'm trying to picture what this is going to look like.
Yeah, Wendy made a good point, and we pulled up a photo of Jessica Lowndes, and we were kind of trying to think it out in our head, like who looks good with her?
Who looks good with her? How tall is she? Because like, you know, some of these contestants are a little bit shorter than the others.
And Wendy's the heightest.
Yes, I am. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to our episode of the 5-year Christmas podcast. I don't even know if it made the final cut.
100%. That's the funniest thing I've ever said.
Anyway, I just love this show so much. I told Megan on the cruise, I was like, I need a second season. I need a Finding Mr. Golden Christmas. I need a Finding Mrs. Christmas. I need a Look, there's so many iterations of the show. Like, they got a smash hit on their hands here.
I agree. I'm loving it so much. Thank you for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark, a Bramble Jam podcast. If you love this podcast, we love your 5-star ratings and reviews. You can leave them in the podcast app that you are currently listening to, or you can pop on over to that Apple Podcast app. It's purple if you're an iPhone user, and leave us not only a 5-star rating, but a written review letting people know why you like us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.